Alright gentlemen, today we're going to talk a little bit about maybe how to fix one of these Vista wall cheap cylinders where your key won't go in even though it's the right keyway. We're going to talk about maybe how to fix that. It doesn't always work, but we have two different tricks we can try. So we're going to do that. These are just some cylinders I have laying around I want to make keys for. We have a lot of customers that ask us to go put in temp cylinders, so we'll just take one of these used cylinders and slap it in and then give them a key. However, every time we do that, we always get our cores back, our cylinders, but when we do, we don't always get the keys back. So I have some keys here that none of these work. We have mostly Schlage. We have a Y1. Nothing works. So 5 Schlage, 1 Y1. And this one, we may not be able to save the cylinder, and I'll show you. We'll actually do this one first. These are the keys that we're going to use for this one, if we're able to get it to work. I'm pretty bored right now. We've been closed for a while now. Well, not really closed, but I'm basically on standby, on call, and I'm really bored. So I just ate and I thought I would rekey the cylinders. I've been wanting to do this for a while, so we're gonna get to it. So key won't go in, kind of a pain. Now I'm just gonna pick this one over. However, one thing you can do, and which is one of the methods that we use to get around this issue, is you can file the edges of your key, and you would take a flat file and go across the edges of it, and it's okay if you only have a couple of keys to do, but you know, if you have a lot, then that can be kind of annoying. So we're just gonna pick this one real quick, hopefully, because our key won't fit. It's gonna be a little bit difficult to shim. And if this isn't picked real easy, then I'll probably just shim it with a pick, because we need to get the cylinder out to make this work. Okay, there we go. If you want to hate on me using a rake to pick, you know what? I can single pin pick, and I can use a rake. At the end of the day, this triple peak is faster, and we're all about making money here, so speed is my friend. Oh, losing the pins here. Oh, there's no way to tell what those first two were. Let's see what these last three were. Oh yeah, we can't. Never mind. Okay, so when you get the cylinder in your hand, the first thing you're going to do, or first thing you're going to try to get this fixed, is spread apart the cylinder. Now this is a little bit difficult because it is solid in the bottom where the faceplate is, but let's get your flathead in the groove back here and give it a little twist. You don't have to go to town on it. You know, you still need it to fit back. You still need it to fit back into the housing, but you'd be surprised what little tweak you can accomplish here. A few different areas. We'll try our key again. He's not wanting to go real smooth. And I think this being solid here is going to be our issue. But we'll give it a couple more tweaks. See if she loosens up a little bit. Okay, so our key won't go in, and we're not going to be able to spread this out because of the fact that it's solid here on the bottom. So what you'll do, and we're going to do this to the keys we're going to key it to, is we're going to file the edges of the key down. And by the edges, we're just going to take a little bit off the sides here. We're not cutting into the grooves. We're not changing the cuts on it. We're just going to shave off the side. Do both sides. Now I'm sure there's somebody somewhere out there saying, you can't do that, you're messing with the security. Look, this isn't messing with the security, and all we're trying to do is get a cylinder that we can use as a temp. All right, so don't lose your marbles over this. Okay, so now that we've filed the edges down, you can see where it's a little shiny. This is going to be a little bit tricky, and keep in mind that this may not work. The cylinder is beat up. This is obviously only ever going to be a temporary, so we're just trying to get something to work on here. So what you're going to do is take your round file and go into the grooves here. Again, we're not taking out a whole lot of material. We're just trying to shave it down to get it to go into the keyway. That's all we're trying to do. Nothing crazy. And then we're going to take our flat file and go on the outer edge here. That side we already did. And we'll try our key. Let's give it a little tap inside, and we may not get this key back out if we do this. So yeah, this isn't one to go in. So this cylinder is basically junk, but you can use this method to get them in, to get your key in. Sometimes, obviously, these cylinders here are junk, and you know, not everybody wants to buy a new cylinder. So in this case, if we could not get this to work, they'd be buying a new cylinder. Easy as that. Make the money on it and call it a day. So in this case, core is trash, and I'm going to take the springs, because the springs are good, and if I can pick these up, and these pins will go right into the art bin, and this is trash. Okay, so I'll go on to the next one. We'll do this Y1 here. Yeah. So this one, I'm going to keep these keys because they are still good. Just because they're shaved down a little bit, that's not going to hurt them at all. And this cylinder also had trouble with the keys going in, but the key would go, it did what the other one was doing. It didn't want to go in right away. Oh, that reminds me, we're going to keep the cam and the screws as well. But this one was doing what the other one was doing. The key didn't want to go in, but I managed to get it in. And after working it in and out a few times, it's self-clearanced. So, doesn't work. Oh, let go. Kind of hurt. Now I can shim this. I have a key right here to do it, but I kind of feel like picking this as well. Maybe, if it picks easily. Just because I'm bored. If I were in the field or on a job right now, I would absolutely be shimming this. Nope. Well, got it. Unfortunately, she popped out on us. So if you can tell, we have one come out on us. No big deal. We'll use our pick and the core here. Nope, hit a master disc in there. That's interesting. Well, now we have to pull it out. I just push it down to hold the pin in place. We're gonna run this small follow through in here. I thought we had a master pin. Maybe we didn't. I don't know. Nope. It was just coming out a little bit. Now you can use this follow through to put the core back in, but I don't like fighting them, so I just run my normal size follow through in it. I'm actually gonna keep that out once I get the core out, just so I can put it back in easier. You don't have to, and yeah, it takes a little bit more time, but no, it's just a preference of mine. You don't have to do that. then we're going to key this up. Oh boy, I don't think I've ever used a pin this deep before. Oh, lucky for me, that was not it. Thought we were gonna have to use a 360, or maybe. Wait, this may be a not that Yale. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, that wasn't it. You guys that use lab kits, does your kit go up to 360? Let me know. I know you don't go below 156 or 155 if you have an 005 kit. Let me tell you, check out the S-Scan kits. My S-Scan kit here will go down to it's a 5000s kit, and it goes down all the way down to 115. Top pins, they go down to 10,000s and up to 320. So those of you that like lab kits, maybe you want to look into the S-Scan. I see quite a few people complaining that they don't go far enough, especially when they try to key up some national stuff. Yeah, this cylinder is absolute junk. The depths are all off. I mean, we can key it up because we're using a universal kit, but it's still pretty annoying when you can't use regular pins. $220. That one may give us issues. We'll try it out though. See how she does. And I don't have 240s in here right now because I don't want to fill it up. And since 235 is too shallow, we will do a 160 bottom pin and an 80 top pin. Stack some pins, and there you go. We're good on the shear line. Now, I realize that makes it a little bit easier to pick, but what you have to understand is that thieves don't pick locks. They just don't. Oh, great. Now this, see where it doesn't want to come out, it doesn't want to come out nicely. We're gonna file these hooks off. You see these hooks on the keys? If you're having to yank your key out, that is going to be your issue 9 times out of 10. And honestly, if you have customer service and you like keeping people happy, I would highly recommend you file off the hooks of the keys with every key that you copy, especially Yale. Just it seems to me that Yale is the worst, just by nature of their keyway. And so we're gonna file the hooks off of all of these keys, but this one in particular. It doesn't take anything difficult. All you're gonna do, and you can do this with a flat file if you wanted, or a pippin file would be better because you can really round over the edges. Let's use a flat file and just go straight across the top. We're not changing any of the depths, we're not taking a lot of material off. All we're doing is rounding off the edges. This is especially important if you're master keying, because, or if you're master keying and you have tiny top pins. You see how they're that one's still not good enough in my opinion. Yeah, you can see how they're rounded off now. They're not all sharp and pointy. You want to do this especially when you're master keying, because if you don't, and you have small master pins in there, those sharp hooks, when your keys want to grab and not go in or out smoothly, that's when you're going to flip a disc. And you're going to get recalls if it happens to the customer, or you're going to have to take it back off the door or take it back apart if you've already assembled it and fix it. So this one's good. And I can show you. No problem. No catchy. For those that say 5000s kits are terrible, I'd say it's pretty damn good to me. And we'll turn the cylinder so the key doesn't fall out, because I want to maintain that key with that cylinder. Of course, that's why we're doing this. And y'all, this is going to be a little bit of a long video, but I'm bored, nothing to do, especially with what's going on. I mean, we have work, but you know, when it's 8 o'clock, it's not generally a whole lot going on. You can see we kind of jumped out there as well. My pick grabbed it. Okay, we'll see how different our key is. Very different. What do we have for pins? That one felt pretty easy. Oh yeah, super easy. No problem there. And we will just key this one up. And thankfully they put the numbers right there on the side for me in case I wasn't sure what to do. Nice of them. This is a GMS cylinder, and a lot of times when you use GMS, you will have to drop the depth one. Well, really with Schlage in general, you'll have to drop it down one depth. And I don't mean if it's a 240, don't go down to 225. What I mean is that if it's a 240, go down to 235. And usually that'll be right on. This one we can use perfect depths and not have any issues. That's pretty good, and we'll take those hooks off as well. Let me know in the comments what you guys like to do when you're bored. You know, of course, if you're doing calls all day long, you're probably not going to want to come home and do this, and I probably wouldn't either. But you know, it's pretty slow, and I just wanted to do something. I'm bored at home, nothing to do, so we're gonna make some keys again. Take the hooks off. Now this key came out perfectly already, but just wait until you see how it comes out once I get this filed. See, you got the rounded peaks. Check this out. I know you're not going to be able to feel this, but oh, it's like butter. I want you to see this. Pretty flexible. No problem. And again, for those that say 5/1000ths are no good because you can't get accurate depths or accurate pinning, let me tell you something. They make these kits for a reason, and they don't have an amateur sitting in their closet designing these and with the knowledge that they don't work. Now that may be obvious to most of you, and I've seen people and heard people and been around people that will go head to head with somebody else, damn near in a fist fight, to say that one kid is better than the other. And all I have to say to you is, it doesn't really matter which one's better than the other. At the end of the day, if it works for you and you get your job done and your customers are happy, that's all that matters. This one doesn't want to pick real easy. I've rekeyed this one in the past and took it off of their building. Oh, there we go. Just have to change directions on her. And we'll see how she's keyed up. We'll get her out of here. I don't remember what these were set to. Let's see. Oh, same as the other one. So I probably used a factory key for that one and then copied it. In fact, I think that's exactly what I did. Now, there is no 6th pin in here. See, it's empty. but I'm using an SC4, so we're just going to leave that latch chamber empty, and that will be good enough for us. Again, y'all, it's not that big of a deal. Thieves don't pick locks, so there's nothing to worry about. This one's a little bit high, but I bet you they will still work perfectly. What do you think? Will it? Or will it be a little catchy? No problem. These, I pulled this one off of a rail lock, and it had the, I'm going to go ahead and change that now. Of course, rail locks use the deadbolt or Yale cam. And because those are not very common for most people, we will use, okay, I'm not going to fight it, I'm just going to, okay, maybe we have to fight it a little bit. There are two ways to handle this problem. I can take this cam off and file it. I can also just do this. Nope. Well, I guess if you have a plastic cam, you probably shouldn't do that. With the zinc cams, I believe these are zinc. These may be, no, these are like a mild steel cam. With these, you can force them down with the screws, but I guess junk cylinder, junk cam, right? This is why you don't use a Vista wall. Yeah, I could break that with my fingers if I really torqued on it. Again, no problems. Take the hooks off. You know, when I was getting these keys ready, I had an SC4 pair in this cylinder, but I wanted to mess with the people that I give this to. So when they get it and they take it to the hardware store, they will say, "Oh, sorry, we don't have that key." In reality, it's just an SC4. No problem. Look, another one of those cheap-ass cylinders. We'll go ahead and take her apart as well. And again, these are strictly for setup cylinders, so not really setup cylinders, but when we get called and asked to put in temp locks, that's what these are for. So you know, the reason I like these cylinders is because if I don't get one back, who the hell cares? And I only use these nice cylinders if I know I'm going to get it back. If I'm not sure, then they pay for it. They'll pay me for it, and then that way if I don't get it back, I've made my money, and then if I do get it back, then we deduct that from the final bill. And that's only with certain customers. There are some that we know we won't get it back, and in those cases they pay for it. It's the same deal. If we get it back, we'll take it off, but the reason we do that is because we've had so many times where they say, "Yeah, we're going to ship out a cord to you, no problem," and then it goes to somebody else, or whatever the case is. This really became an issue with Best cores. and those are not the cheapest thing in the world. When we buy them pre-combinated because I hate vests, and I'm not going to sit around and pin up cores that I may or may not get back. So you buy them pre-combinated, and charge the customer accordingly. Okay, now just because I can and because I'm exceptionally bored, this is the first one that put up a fight. I would get it eventually with this, but we're gonna single pin pick here and see what we get out of her. Cylinder, give up the juice. Go back to the rig. This one's kind of being a pain in my ass. Watch this be like some super simple bitting and I'm just being fucking retarded. Alright. I'm over this cylinder. Let's see. Let's see what she's got. Let's see how simple this was. Shallow pin, really deep one. That's probably what my problem was. Oh well. Not a huge deal at all. If that were on a building, we would probably, I would have gone a little bit longer on the picking side of it until I eventually got it, or we twist the cylinder off, which I don't like doing. I'll do it if I have to, but I wouldn't have to in that situation. Now in this cheap ass cylinder, we are having to step her down a little bit. Just a little bit though, not too bad. We're going down 255 becomes 250, 210 becomes 205, so on and so forth. There we go. For those people that say, oh, well, you can decode a lock by the colors. Really? I mean, here's the deal. You can decode this, but those true greens are not 255s, which is what you would think it would be, considering that it's Schlage. It could be a 180, I guess. But those are not 180s or 255s, so maybe decode it by the colors. You're still going to end up with a lot of combinations to try, so it's a lot of keys you have to cut out. You have to cut just to get it in, just to get it, just to hopefully get into it. So, take it for what you will. Vista wall and the Regent cylinders. See that threading very coarse. Here's a normal cylinder. It's pretty fine. Actually, that one may have, I think those came out of that cheap one as well, so I guess these go either way. But I believe most mortar cylinders, like the GMS, are fine threaded. I believe is how those are. Alright, no problem, and we'll go ahead and take the hooks off. Now I am skipping a step from what I would normally do with these for the sake of this video, and because I don't feel like arguing with people and about how bad it is, but normally I would put a groove in the cylinder. Countersink is what the is like a countersink is a tool that you would actually use to do it. Well, not actually use, but that's effectively what you're accomplishing, would be the equivalent of a countersink. And yep, there's a whole lot of people that are against that. However, people that are against that typically are the same people that say that you're hurting the security and making it easier for thieves to get in, but thieves don't pick locks. And I'm going to get people that say, well, how do you know that's true for everybody? Look, we've been in business for a long time, 100 years. They either left the door unlocked, which they admit to, or you can see a 4th century, a door being kicked in, window being broken. It's just what we see here. I want to talk about this real quick about shimming. Two ways you can, or several ways you can approach this. You can put your shim in first or put your key in first. With commercial locks, it doesn't matter a whole lot, but with residential, especially when you have spools, if you know they're in there, or if you suspect, like say it's a Schlage or a Defiant where they use spools, even Kwikset now uses them, put your key in first, because if there's a spool in that last chamber and it's a shallow cut, then when you put your shim in first, you can be inside the spool, and then you're not going to be able to get your key in, and you'll have to back it out anyway. So a good rule of thumb, put your key in first and then your shim. The other thing, you can sit here and tap on the shim, and while you pull your key out, and you can see it just works for me there. However, and we'll kind of do a test. When you tap on this, every time you lift your finger off and you pull your key back, you can miss a drop in, right? But I just found it there on accident. So, tapping on it, you're setting yourself up for failure. Will you get most locks? Yeah, eventually. Is it the most efficient way? Absolutely not. Physics are not on your side. Now, there are two other ways you can do this. You can, I can't even do it like that. I've seen some people, like, they'll, like, do their finger like this and, like, work the key in and out with this hand. That's kind of awkward for me. I hold this, I'm right-handed, but I pin with my left hand. So I hold the cylinder in my left hand. I put steady pressure on the shim, and then I pull the key out. And we're shimmed. No problem. I can make a whole video talking about just that, but it's not, I mean, if you feel like you need it, I will. It's just not worth it. This is one that I keyed up as well, it looks like. Yeah. I knew, oh, I just lost my damn cylinder in my trash box. Get back here. I knew that these three were keyed the same because the building that I used them for, they wanted everything on the same key. But I don't remember what key I used, so yeah. That's why we had to do that. That's why we're doing this. So if y'all want to see more videos like this, I don't have really that many cylinders. I mean, this is really all the cylinders I have to do this to. But if you like more videos where we're just kind of shooting the shit, talking and doing some busy work, I'd be more than happy to continue to make more of these as I find stuff to do. I do want to make a video about the tools that you guys will need as an apprentice, and that will probably be coming up shortly after this one. I may even record it after I do this. I don't know. Perfect. So anyway, that will be coming up in the near future. There's a lot of people that show tools that you need for various parts of the job, or they'll show what tools that a locksmith should have in it's very opinion based, as everybody works a little bit different. Now this business is my family's business, and the way that I work, the way my dad worked, the way that his dad worked, and the way that his dad worked, none of us work the same way. We don't use the same tools necessarily. We don't function the same way. My dad, he will hold the cylinder in his right hand and pin up with his left. I hold it in my left hand and pin up with the right. I'm actually ambidextrous for writing, so I do a lot of things, or I've been told anyway, I've been doing things that are considered weird for right-handed people, because I write mostly with my right hand. And by mostly, I mean that I can write with my left hand, I just don't do it all that often. Normally I do it out of boredom, but I can, and I do a lot of things apparently that are normal for left-handed people, and now it's normal for right-handed people. And my dad was one of those ones that pointed it out when he asked me why I pin keys with, or pin locks with my left hand. Look at that. Some 206 multi-lock. Multi-lock is garbage. I pulled this off of a few buildings. Actually, where those cylinders came from, the GMS cylinders, is where that one came from. This rim cylinder pulled off, SC8. See, SC4 doesn't work, and it says it right there. SC8. I don't really know why I had this still. It's beat all to hell, but I think I kept it just for the key, to be honest with you, because I think I was going to experiment with this at some point. But anyway, maybe somebody that needs a cheap garage door rim cylinder will get that one. I don't know. I really can't use it for a whole lot, because if I'm selling a rim cylinder, it's usually for somebody that needs it to match other things. Well, I believe that wraps it up. We're all done here. Got a box of setup keys here, some Schlage Everest. Just worked on that a couple days ago. If you want to see more videos of just some of this casual working, you know, not really for any purpose, just kind of moseying on and talking about whatever, let me know. And like I said, I'll be more than happy to make these videos. I enjoy making videos. My problem is that I don't know what to make them about. And the other issue is that I get really bored. And while there's a lot of things I can make videos about, I don't know what to make them about. So that's it. Thanks for watching. This is a, oh look, 40 minutes, super long video. I appreciate you guys sticking it out with me, and we will see you next time. Till then, have a good one.